So this next video, um, it's interesting, right? Because people nowadays, especially the ones that are growing up, there's a lot of kids that just think like main character syndrome, like it's on another level, heightened, like super up there. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people start thinking like they can just get away with anything just because they are who they are. And I mean anything, and by anything I mean you know, death to unaliving people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Like, that's another thing. So here, let me just show you. Privileged teen thinks she can get away with murder. The case of Mackenzie Shrilia, which is interesting because like we just got through watching an internet anarchist video about Jack Dougherty, and he talked in the Jack Dougherty's downfall, and the internet anarchist talked about, obviously he talked about Jack's girlfriend, whose name is also Mackenzie. But anyway, let's get to the video. First off, like, why would she think she can get away with murder, with unaliving somebody? Secondly, it seems like she had a case of entitlement. Like she was entitled to get away with anything, to being able to do this. Or she was entitled to something and the person said no, but she's not used to hearing no, and so she decided to, unalive them. But anyway, let's get to it.
Mackenzie Shrilia appeared to be a typical teenage girl, doing many of the things that teenage girls do. By all accounts, she and her boyfriend seemed to have it all. But did they?
Killed her boyfriend?
And if they didn't, what would this seemingly sweet teenage girl do to make sure that they did?
Oh, or not.
Welcome back to Crime A to Z, where we detail cases and criminals from their very beginning until well after other reporting ends. Today, we'll be talking about the case of Mackenzie Shrilia. It's one of the most ruthless, senseless, and just plain heartbreaking cases you'll come across. It's about young people with hearts of gold, and one with no heart at all.
And of course, man, rich people problems. It meaning that well, there's also a lot of rich people that think they can get away with anything just because they have money. But man, this is for some reason, like, I'm not surprised that they're rich like that, but at the same time, it's like it perpetuates the stereotype that people who have money are evil. When that's not the case. It's just money is a tool. The people who have money the people themselves happen to be just bad people. There are plenty of good people with money. It's just a tool. Money is not evil. Stop thinking that.
It's a case so gut-wrenching that even the officers on the scene could barely hold it together. So sit tight as we dive into this case of entitlement, selfishness, and statness. And as always, if you end up liking how we present this case, it would be great if you can help us out by giving us a quick like, subscribe, and share, please. Let's go. Mackenzie Shrilia was born on August 2nd, 2004 to Natalie Shrilia and John Stephen. She grew up in Strongsville, Ohio, where she and her sibling enjoyed a comfortable upbringing. During her teenage years, Mackenzie, like many young ladies her age, was an avid social media user, frequently posting videos with her friends on TikTok. Although Mackenzie appeared to be a sweet child in her...
I like how YouTube channels like this one in the internet anarchist, when they do these kind of edits. I like that kind of shit, but my videos aren't really needed for that. Oh shit.
Younger years, those around her noted that a shift occurred once she became a teenager. Some described her as selfish, vindictive, and cruel.
She got access to TikTok and learned from the other girls on TikTok how to be a bitch.
With the attractive youngster having typically gotten whatever it was that she wanted in life, her sense of entitlement was well known. It pushed many of her peers away from her. As Mackenzie grew older, her parents still knew her to be the well-behaved daughter they had always raised, unaware of her developing issues. She began using drugs and engaging in disrespectful behavior, including vandalizing a church while she was under the influence.
Bro, like if I was gonna have a kid, the one like I would want to have a boy, because I think raising a girl in this day and age would be tough. Not for her to turn out, well, like this, because it just seems like there's so much influence on females for them to just not have it, have little self-respect for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or let alone for other people. And so I don't know. Like obviously it just depends on how well I parent, but there's just so much influence from outside sources that I would have to fight off. That's why I say like it would just be harder to do it. But that's why I'd rather have a boy.
And her actions only intensified once she began high school at Strongsville High. It was there that she would meet Dominic Russo. Throughout his childhood, Dominic was well known for his great sense of humor and ability to lift the spirits of those around him. His siblings said that he was the one who always made them smile, always wearing the biggest grin himself. With his strong passion to grow and make the most of each day, Dominic was already an accomplished businessman, athlete, song producer, and entrepreneur by the time he was just 20 years old.
Okay, that's what, shout out, bruh. That's discipline right there. His parents did a great job raising him, That's what's up, man. Good shit.
But with his desire to make a broader impact on his community and to give back to people beyond his hometown, he planned to join the military. Dominic and Mackenzie were attracted to each other and began dating in 2021. They originally kept their relationship quiet, but shortly after they started dating, they made the relationship public via social media. Mackenzie would frequently post photos of them looking happy and in love. They appeared to be soulmates, spending as much time together as possible. Their families met and grew close as well, and it appeared that nothing could come between them.
That's what's
They
up.
eagerly anticipated graduating high school so they could
See that seemed like a perfect setup. Like even some people would call that shit kind of like a fairy tale setup. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of women would want that kind of setup for their life, and to for that to carry on into the rest of their lives. However, I do hear about people that get divorced that say that they were childhood friends or not childhood friends, but they met in high school, and for some reason they're getting divorced. But they post this kind of thing on TikTok, and so I assume they were watching TikTok and being influenced by other women who talk about, hey, even if he's a nice guy, just divorce him if you're unhappy, even if he hasn't done anything to you. It has been nothing but good to you. If you're unhappy, just divorce him. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of influence out there that encourages women to do things like that, or to just be extremely entitled. I'm not saying all women are like that, but there's a lot of influence from other women that encourage other women to do that.
Could start their lives together. But the bliss didn't last long. Dominic began to notice a side of Mackenzie that he was not fond of. She started to expect Dominic to agree with everything that she said, and he started to get frustrated with how controlling she was.
He started to set boundaries.
Amidst it all, though, they continued to project the image of a perfect couple on social media. At some point, Dominic decided to break off the relationship and approach Mackenzie with the news. Mackenzie disagreed and was unwilling to give up on them. But
So, I'm still kind of in the right. Like, he told her she wanted something. She wanted to continue the relationship. He said no. She couldn't take no.
Dominic, desperate to be freed, insisted. Mackenzie was upset, but also determined to rekindle their relationship. But her way of going about it was problematic. She began showing up at Dominic's house, threatening to harm him and damage his property if he didn't let her in.
Oh no.
On one of the occasions, he recorded her outside of his home making the threats.
Let me key my car, telling me to break the door.
Key your car and you do not let me in the house.
You better call the cops, bro.
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
Dominic tried his best to defuse the situations, trying to reason with Mackenzie and calm her down at every turn. As he continued to reject her, Mackenzie's frustration and desperation grew stronger. She alternated between begging him to take her back and threatening him if he didn't.
Dom, if you do not open, like, you think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. Like, I'm dead ass.
What do you mean?
You know it. That's exactly what I mean. It doesn't. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious problem.
But the more she showed her true side, the more convinced
Bro, she is so controlling. Holy shit. And like, the thing is, we as men, we still have this perception that women are these innocent. I think this, as society as a whole, has the perception that women are supposed to be these innocent, can do no harm, you know, can need to be protected type of people. When shit like this constantly happens, and so it's like we need to break that perception of women right now, because everybody is capable of doing evil. You know what I'm saying? Not just men. Not, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is. So I don't know, man. I think the other issue is that as when you're growing up, men are taught how to treat women, but women aren't taught how to treat men. And they just expect us to do everything. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them just expect us to do everything for them simply because they exist. Thankfully, not all of them think this, but sheesh.
Dominic became that ending their relationship was the right decision. Despite the breakup and bitter disputes, like they had done in the past, the couple would eventually reconcile. They got back together, and Mackenzie seemed like
man escaped. The man's escaped and went right back, man. That's sad, bro. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's like he put in all that time with her and effort or whatever, and so maybe he just wasn't ready to let go all of everything that he put into the relationship. I don't know, because I've been there. Like, there's this with a crazy chick, but thankfully I got away. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. So I can understand him going back, but bruh, you gotta not.
a changed person, softening her aggression and seemingly genuinely sweet. She made plans for her and Dominic to attend a party that a friend of theirs was having. Dominic was looking forward to the evening.
Like, bro, since you took her back, like, you don't know what she's been plotting in case you take her back. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what she's been plotting. Like, she could try to trap you with, by having you get her pregnant. She could try to well, I mean, obviously we can see what she did, but other than, you know, no lifing somebody and trying to trap him with a baby, she could just try to I don't know, isolate him from his friends and family by you know, telling lies about him and stuff and shit like that, and then making sure that he can only rely on her. Like, there's a bunch of things. Like, you gotta be careful if you're gonna take someone back after they threaten to key your car if you don't let them in. Would make constant threats like that by just randomly showing up at your spot. You gotta be careful if you take somebody back like that.
Mackenzie had planned every detail. She and Dominic attended the party where their friends were pleased to see the perfect couple happily back.
Oh, they just said she planned every detail. So is this when she
together again? The pair danced, drank, and enjoyed themselves. To Dominic, it felt like an ideal night, and Mackenzie felt that way as well, but for an entirely different reason. At the party, they connected with one of Dominic's best friends, Davian Flanagan. Mackenzie also knew Davian. He was 19, and despite a challenging childhood in foster care before being adopted in 2010, he was extremely kind-hearted and positive. He had recently graduated from Strongsville High School, where he was on the football team. He planned to attend barber school, then open a barber shop in their small town.
Okay, that's what's up.
Davian joined Mackenzie and Dominic partying. Then the
man's got a plan, you know what I'm saying? And he was still in high school. Like, a lot of people still in high school will be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. A lot of people even like until they get to college, they might still not know what to do, what they want to do. So good shit. You have to make your plan early.
Three of them stayed at their friend's house until the early hours of the next day. At 5 a.m., Mackenzie woke up Dominic to head home. As she was waking Dominic, Davian also woke up and asked for a ride home. So, on that morning,
Oh, no.
one day before Mackenzie's 18th birthday, Mackenzie, 20-year-old Dominic, and 19-year-old Davian left the party around 5 a.m. in Mackenzie's 2018 Toyota Camry. Mackenzie was behind the wheel, with Dominic in the passenger seat and Davian in the back. Initially, Mackenzie, the only one wearing a seatbelt, drove slowly, maintaining perfect control. But as she turned onto Progress Drive from Pearl Road, she pressed the accelerator and didn't let go. The street was just 3/4 of a mile long, or 1.2 kilometers, but within that distance, she reached a speed of 100 miles per hour. The road was relatively straight, perfectly suited for gaining unbridled speed. She sped through the industrial complex, headed directly toward the end of the road, where just beyond it stood a brick building. At the very last moment, she veered directly toward it, then crashed into it head-on at 100 miles per hour. But it was a very early Sunday morning in an area exclusively occupied by industrial business buildings, so there was not a soul around. It was a full 45.
To take someone's life like that, the dude in the back was innocent. He was, he didn't. He had no beef with the man. But to just be so angry that he left you the first time, that you plan to make it that, I'm guessing she thought in her head, she was thinking, if I do this, we'll be together forever, and he'll never be able to leave me. And so she was hoping to take them all out at once. See, that's just, you can already, like, it's not like you know the mind state of anybody you get in the car with. Like, they might seem normal as fuck, like there's nothing going on with them. But you get in the car with them and they decide, you know what? I was waiting for somebody to know somebody to know life myself with. And so man, so could you imagine someone like that drives for one of those companies like Uber or Lyft doing something like that? And again, man, the guy in the back had nothing to do with this. But this is exactly why you gotta be careful with people, man. Like, she showed signs that she was violent and, crazy. And he still got back together with her. Like I said, I understand why, but you gotta think more. You gotta think harder about these kind of things, man. You will think people or the person you were with or the person isn't capable of something like this, but you end up finding out that they are. I started reading the book, The 48 Laws of Power, yesterday for my first new video on my new channel that I made. And in the preface, whatever, it says to, like, one of the lessons the book will try to teach you is to don't trust everyone, not even your friends. not completely. You can have trust in them, but you don't trust them completely. And that just goes to show, like, you really, like, that's just an example. You can trust everyone, but you can't trust everyone completely, especially your friends and loved ones.
5 minutes before a passerby spotted the wreckage and called police. Within minutes, Strongsville police arrived at the crash site. Officers arrived at the scene of the devastating crash. The car barely resembled a car at all anymore. As the first officer hurriedly approaches, he reports that the car is split in half.
This car's split in two.
The severity of the crash is obvious, and he calls for additional units, noting that there is at least one person inside the vehicle.
Radio, there's an occupant inside. Send us a squad now. This is not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while.
The officer notices another occupant.
Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God.
The officer finds the third occupant.
Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious. No one's breathing.
But then they quickly notice that the driver of the vehicle is breathing. They cannot extract Mackenzie. Her head is wedged in and she's severely pinned in the vehicle, her fuzzy Prada slippers still pressed against the accelerator. They won't be able to extract her until fire and rescue arrive.
Yo, she was still pushing the gas. Like, I don't know. I just kind of imagine, like, in that situation, would some people get scared and just, take their foot off the gas, or maybe even try to hit the brake? But no, she was still pushing the gas. Like, okay.
In the meantime, despite their experience, the officers are clearly impacted by the scale of the accident and the loss of life.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
48-year-old.
No, she planned this. She planned this, my guy. She's mad that her boyfriend, the dude that's in the passenger seat, she's mad that he broke up with her. She was able to end up talking him into getting back together with her. But when they were broken up, she was just like showing up to his house random times and just threatening to do stuff if he didn't let her inside. Like, she even threatened to key his car if he didn't let her inside. Like, you could say she lost it, but she ended up, actually, as soon as they got back together, she planned this.
This is the worst I've ever seen. Rest in peace, buddy.
Mackenzie has survived. Dominic and Davian did not. There were car parts everywhere.
Yo, honestly, and I don't want to like she was the only one wearing a seatbelt still. Remember, in the video, they said that she was the only one wearing a seatbelt when they first got into the car. I thought she would have taken her seatbelt off right before she hit, when she decided to start accelerating down that speed, that road. I thought she would have taken her seatbelt off, but she probably kept it on, and that's why she's still alive. My point is, buckle up.
The car had struck the building with such force that it looked like it had exploded. Fire and rescue arrive. Mackenzie is extracted and life-flighted to the hospital, where she will undergo multiple surgeries to save her life. She tested positive for THC, consistent with her having smoked marijuana, and she was also in possession of a bag of magic mushrooms and a digital scale. Initially, the police believed that Mackenzie had crashed because she
Weed does not make you do this.
was high. But as the investigation began to unfold, authorities began to suspect that what Mackenzie had done was far more deliberate.
See, I told you. I knew they would try to say it was because she was high, it was the weed, and no, it wasn't the weed. I promise you that.
When Mackenzie woke up in the hospital and realized she had survived, she tearfully told her doctors that it was her fault for killing her boyfriend. While the doctors thought these were just the rantings of a remorseful driver, the police took her statement seriously.
As they should have.
After undergoing multiple surgeries, Mackenzie was released from the hospital and returned home with her parents. As the Shirillas prepared to welcome their daughter home, the Russos and Flanagans were planning funerals for their sons.
That's messed up.
Meanwhile, the prosecutor's office was conducting a thorough investigation, and it was not looking good for Mackenzie. For starters, police interviewed several of Mackenzie and Dominic's friends.
Wait, man, real quick. Like, I feel sorry for the parents and like the family members because like the woman who planned to unalive everybody in the car is the only one that survived. The other two that were in the car were innocent. They had no reason to get unalive. Like, they had no real reason. Like, we know why she did it, but they had no real reason to get unalive. And those parents have to suffer the loss of their children just because she's angry that her boyfriend broke up with her. I mean, he got back with her. And she said, I'm not gonna let you do it again. I'm not gonna let you break up with me again. She decided, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna stay together forever. Well, at least she tried. But still, the parents should not have to go through something like this simply because the other family's daughter is just lost it. That's messed up, bruh. I feel sorry for the parents, man.
From which a consistent theme emerged. They learned that she had frequently threatened him during their on-again, off-again relationship. Threats like keying his car and forcing her way into his home like mentioned previously, but also threatening to kill him by crashing her car with him inside of it. The most recent such kill her and forcing her way into his home during their on-again, off-again relationship emerged. They learned that she had frequently threatened him during their...
Wait.
For starters, police interviewed several of Mackenzie and Dominic's friends, from which...
So the friends even knew that she was planning, that she said this. Did the friends tell, like, you know, the boyfriend?
A consistent theme emerged.
Did he know?
They learned that she had frequently threatened him during their on-again, off-again relationship. Threats like keying his car and forcing her way into his home like mentioned previously, but also threatening to kill him by crashing her car with him inside of it.
So she made that threat to him and then proceeded to go through with the threat. Oh man, I really wish he took that threat seriously.
The most recent such threat occurring just 2 weeks before the crash, when she told him, "Dominic, I will crash this car right now." Around that same time period, Dominic had even called his mother asking her to come pick him up because he was riding with Mackenzie and she was driving recklessly. Also, authorities and the public felt like Mackenzie was not acting like a grieving girlfriend responsible for two people's deaths. The photograph that she posted on Dominic's obituary seemed, as one news publication called it, twisted. Many also found it inappropriate and tasteless for her to attend a Halloween party so soon after the deaths that she was responsible for, especially dressed as both marijuana and a corpse, and then post the fully decked out costume photos on her social media account.
That is so wrong, bro. Like, she was mocking getting away with it. She was mocking the fact that she got away with it and then just started giving out hints that she did it. Yeah, she's definitely, yeah, evil as fuck, bro. She's mocking, right? That was what she's mocking, that she got away with killing the boyfriend that she loved so much and his innocent friend. And it says, if you know, you know. So even her friends know.
And those weren't her only posts. Within weeks of the crash, she had returned to posting TikToks.
I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die.
In one of her posts,
Oh my
she
God, bro,
shockingly
that's
claimed
fucking,
that
that's fucking sick. Now she's bragging that she's like the only one that. It feels to me like she's bragging that she's the only one that lived after doing all those drugs and crashing the car.
she was the one you die for.
Gotta figure like a pin, gotta figure like a doll. Don't care if you think I'm dumb, I don't care at all. Candy best, sweetie, if I wanna be adored, I'm the girl you die for.
And she drew the same sentiment for a concert she attended. Shortly after she was released from the hospital, she was seen attending a concert, still in a wheelchair from her injuries. There were also posts that Mackenzie and her mother made on social media, replying to and soliciting a modeling job. Community members felt it was so inappropriate
crazy.
after the deaths that they emailed the exchanges they had made with the Los Angeles modeling agency to the police department. And police also gathered and analyzed the physical evidence. A thorough analysis was done on the vehicle, and it was found to not have any defects or malfunctions that would have contributed to the crash. Additionally, the Toyota's event data recorder, also known as its black box, revealed that the moment Mackenzie turned onto Progress Road, she began pressing the accelerator pedal to the floor the entire stretch of the road. Her foot
Yo, I didn't know cars had that. That's dope. That's awesome. So that, yeah, I'm glad the police had access to that.
still in that position when they found her. She never attempted to press the brake pedal. She barreled down the short road until it teed at the end, slightly veering into the grass as she aimed for the building. The black box, along with surveillance video, showed that the steering wheel jerked 142 degrees to the right and then left just before the car left the road and crashed into the building. And speaking of that surveillance video, that is where investigators truly began to question the teenager's actions. The bad behavior before the crash and the questionable actions afterward were not necessarily definitive, but the surveillance footage together with the black box data began to leave little doubt. Multiple businesses in the area captured the teenager's ill-fated path that early morning. But two of those videos in particular gave authorities a clear picture of the car, both en route and right up through the point of impact. The first one showed Mackenzie when she was calmly and responsibly rounding the final corner, including traveling at a reasonable speed, reducing her speed to make the turn, and even signaling to turn. Her actions in that video, authorities determined, were not consistent with someone erratically driving under the influence. The second video shows how once she is on the final road, she accelerates at full speed, before finally veering at the last moment into the brick building. Her controlled actions just prior to turning onto the street indicated that Mackenzie was in complete control of the vehicle.
Right.
So authorities concluded that her actions once she turned the corner were entirely deliberate. Taking a look at her route via Google Maps puts into perspective exactly how devastating her 100-mile-per-hour plunge into the building actually
Holy
was.
shit.
As she traveled down Progress Avenue, headed straight toward the building that lied at the end, veering slightly onto the grass as she was about to traverse the rocks and sign, heading straight for the corner of the building. The devastation was not surprising. And such a meticulous, destructive path was no accident either. After analyzing Mackenzie's phone and GPS data, authorities found that she had spent a significant
What if there was other cars on that road? That could have been more lives lost. If, I mean, yeah, that impact would still, you know what I'm saying? Like there would have been more, there could have been more lives lost if there was other cars on the road and she hit one of them before hitting the building.
amount of time on that completely out-of-the-way Progress Road just a few days before the crash. They surmised that she had spent the time scouting the area as she plotted the crash, given no other explanation for her to be in that industrial area. But Mackenzie wasn't taking any responsibility. In fact, she felt like what she had done didn't at all warrant the potential punishment she may be facing. In the immediate aftermath of the accident, she asked police if they could just take my license away for 10 years or something like that.
Hell no.
But her acts would have far greater consequences despite her perspective. Between her scouting of the area prior to the crash, the threats she had made during her and Dominic's tumultuous relationship, the speed and path she took on the deadly ride, along with her foot still being on the gas pedal, authorities were confident that McKenzie intentionally and callously took the lives of Dominic and Davian. On November 4th, 2022, authorities arrested McKenzie Shirilla. She is charged with over 12 counts, including 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools. Given that she was 17 at the time of the incident, she was taken to a juvenile detention facility. During pretrial hearings, the prosecution offered McKenzie a plea deal. She turned it down, and her attorney indicated they were prepared to take it to trial.
That's correct, Your Honor. I went on Monday and discussed this at great length with McKenzie. The week before that, with her parents present.
Also, it was the day before her 18th birthday. I hope that comes into play. Like, I mean, technically, yeah, she was 17, but she was the day before her 18th birthday. Try that bitch as an adult.
With her today, and it's her desire that she does not want to plead to 2 counts of murder.
And Mackenzie, are you satisfied?
There is no remorse in her face. She's just sad that she got that she finally got caught. She was celebrating that she had gotten away with it this entire time, and now she's like, "Fuck! Like, they actually caught me." There's no remorse in her face for what she's actually done. None of that's coming back to her now that she's been caught. None of those emotions are coming back to her. Well, because they weren't there in the beginning when she first did it.
Satisfied with the lawyer so far? You can see. Yes, Your Honor.
For that trial, McKenzie chose to waive her right to a jury trial, opting instead for a bench trial, taking her chances on what a judge may decide versus 12 jurors. Given the circumstances surrounding McKenzie's crime, the prosecution planned to try her as an adult.
Yes.
For the trial, prosecutors outlined McKenzie's aggressive behavior and threats toward Dominic to show how she reacted when she didn't get her way or when Dominic wouldn't do what she wanted. They outlined the time when she repeatedly warned Dominic to let her into his home or face the consequences.
Dom, if you do not open, you think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. Like, I'm dead ass.
What do you mean?
You know it. That's exactly what I mean. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious problem.
She threatened to break the handle off the door if he didn't let her in, and she began hitting the door and counting down the seconds before there was about to be said problem.
1, it's a good thing he was recording, but 2, he should have just called the cops too. Should have hung up on that bitch and called the cops.
Their evidence
But keep recording.
also showed that McKenzie was fully aware that she could cause serious harm to her victims by way of her vehicle, given the repeated threats she made about crashing her car with Dominic in it. They argued that in the months following the crash, instead of being remorseful or mourning the deaths of Dominic and Davian, she was living a carefree and frivolous life, presenting the TikToks she made, her concert attendance, and her pursuit of modeling jobs. They presented the physical evidence and crash expert testimony that revealed how the crash was neither an accident nor the result of any malfunction of the vehicle. Instead, McKenzie had deliberately and meticulously planned and carried out the death of Dominic, and his best friend, who simply requested a ride home, became meaningless collateral damage to her. In contrast, McKenzie's defense team argued that the crash was a tragic accident that McKenzie had no memory of. They argued that it was impossible to know who actually pulled the wheel to turn it at 142 degrees just 1 second before impact, causing the crash. He asked the crash analyst who testified whether McKenzie could have been swerving to dodge an unexpected obstacle, whether a passenger could have grabbed the wheel to control the steering, or perhaps she was desperately trying to regain control of the vehicle. He did acknowledge that McKenzie was indeed driving recklessly. But the evidence to the contrary, particularly the surveillance video evidence, was overwhelming. The judge noted,
The video clearly shows the purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction that day. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels. Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Prosecutors noted that the video was also why they chose to try Shirilla as an adult, stating,
Yes.
When you drive for
thank you.
4 or 5 seconds with the pedal all the way down until you hit 100 miles per hour into a building, we felt the charge was appropriate. The judge found Mackenzie Shirilla guilty on all 12 charges. At the sentencing hearing, the prosecution reminded the court about Mackenzie's lack of remorse, represented by her actions in the weeks and months after the crash. The judge also allowed statements from the families of those involved. Davian's mother was the first to address the court.
Yes. Your Honor, my name is Jamie Flanagan. I am the mother of the victim, Davian Flanagan. I want to share a small part of what we lost on 7/31/2022. My son, Davian, is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. He gave to the world what he wanted most in his own life: love. The kind of love that would rescue a friend in the middle of the night, no questions asked. The kind that would protect others and honor them. He made friends easily with his infectious smile. He was a gifted athlete. He had plans to go to barber school and open his own shop. My son did not have a clique of friends, but instead was a friend to all. He would go out of his way to show love and kindness to others, including those that were often cast aside by society, the less fortunate, the developmentally challenged, the hurting, and the unvalued. Davian made sure that everyone that crossed his path knew that he truly saw them, that he valued them, and that they were worth his time. Davian and my kids have had more than their fair share of heartbreak, of hardship, and of loss. Davian was adopted with his sisters from foster care. They are biological siblings. We are honored to be chosen, or to have been chosen, to be their parents.
Man, that's so messed up because, again, like these kids had plans, bro. Like, they had their life plan out. Like, this dude was gonna go to barber school, become a barber, and one day start his own business. The other dude was great at music, and he was a great athlete as well. Like, man, these guys had plans, man, and just all of that just lost on the whim of a girl who's not even like upset that she did it. She was celebrating that she got away with it. Everything those boys were capable of, everything those boys could have done for the future of the society, just gone. Just because someone was in their feels.
Their forever family. I am devastated by the loss of Davian. The world lost a truly special man.
The court also heard from Dominic's mother.
I'm Christine Russo. I'm Dominic's mother. No one wanted this to be a murder or to punish Mackenzie Shirilla for this accident. But this was not a car accident. The evidence and science proved that Mackenzie Shirilla murdered my son, Dominic, as well as Davian. There's no fix put in this case, as the Shirillas would like to proclaim. I want to thank Strongsville Police Department and the state of Ohio for seeking the truth behind this crash. Thanks to them, we all know what happened in that car that day. What we don't know is why. I wish I could change this every day. I lost 3 children in that crash. Not a minute goes by each day that I don't think about my son, as well as Davian. My heart is forever broken. The cries heard from the Shirilla family and friends after the verdict are nothing more than a lack of remorse. Mackenzie Shirilla had a choice. Dom and Davian did not. We are all left here to mourn. But what Dominic and Davian lost can never be remedied in any way or by any particular sentence. On July 31st, 2022, I called Mackenzie's mother, hysterical with the loss of my son and Davian. I knew Mackenzie was in the hospital. And the first statement said to me was, "Oh, please don't listen to what everyone's saying on Facebook." Yeah, my son is dead, his friend is dead, and I'm checking on yours. Yet social media is what's important. Social media has made a game out of the life of Mackenzie and is making a game out of this heart-wrenching tragedy. No one can imagine the pain of losing a child unless they have lost one themselves. The pain is forevermore. Time does not heal this wound. Mackenzie, going to prison because you did this. Be thankful that you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be. Dom and Davion were robbed of their futures, their hopes, and their dreams. Mackenzie showed no mercy on Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul. Thank you.
That looks fake to me. I don't think she's sad, bro. I don't think she's actually sad. Looks like she's trying to fake it.
Mackenzie's mother also addressed the court.
My name is Natalie Sharilla. I just want to say, am I allowed to address them at all? Sure. I just want to say to the families that I'm broken, sad, and lost, and my heart hurts for everyone, okay? Davion was her new friend, and Dom was the love of her life, and he was part of our family, okay? I'm just so sorry that this happened, and we're heartbroken, okay? And then, Your Honor, this was a terrible, tragic nightmare accident to have happened that she has no memory of, and she will never emotionally...
Pressing exit out, bro. She has memory of it. Otherwise, she'd be like, where are they? What happened to them? Or I mean, obviously they told her that when she was in the hospital. But she has no memory. She says she has no memory of actually doing it. Okay, you could say that. But knowing what happened to them, like, obviously they told you while you were in the hospital, they told you what happened. You should still feel remorseful just from that whatever happened, you're the one that lived and they're the ones that passed. And you don't even have remorse from that. So it doesn't really matter if you want to claim that you don't remember it at all. You have no memory of it. You know how you felt about him before everything, because obviously you planned this. You felt hatred toward him for breaking up with you at first time, and you felt like you didn't just now that you had the chance to make sure he's never able to break up with you again. That you were gonna take that chance. That you weren't about to lose that chance. All of this other shit. Even if you forgot about the accident itself, and let's say you forgot about everything, like you had amnesia from the point of getting back together with him or him breaking up with you. The cops still told you what happened as soon as you woke up in the hospital, and you're still not remorseful for something like that. That's even worse, because in your mind, if you have amnesia up to the point before he broke up with you, you would never have felt that anger towards him before breaking up with you. So you should be even more devastated, and you're not. So fuck it.
Physically recover from it. She almost died too, and we're asking that you please not run the sentences consecutive. He was family, and we all loved each other. That morning of the accident, she called. I got a phone call that there was a car accident. Okay, so we went to the hospital, and I didn't even know who was in the car. The names had not been confirmed yet, and I'm gonna cry because I missed Dom so much. We loved him so much. So I called Dom, over and over again, praying that he was going to answer the phone, and he didn't answer the phone. So then I tried to call his mom, and she didn't answer the phone either. And I still didn't know who was in the car. I didn't even know if she was alive. I didn't know what was happening.
What's her name? The chick that's going to jail, that's going to prison. Her mental imbalance that may be something that she got from her mom, and therefore, what if her mom is saying all this, but she doesn't actually mean any of it? She's just upset. She's just upset that she has to deal with this, and she's trying to get her a lighter sentence for her daughter. What if that's what's going through her mind? What if she doesn't actually care as much as she says she does? I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm curious, since, her daughter has that mental imbalance. What about her mom?
So then we were in the waiting room, and then his mom she did call me, so I answered the phone, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even know who was in the car, like, what's happening, was that Dom? And she said, what do you mean, my son is dead? And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then she said something like, and now I have to wait until your kid's out of the hospital, and then I didn't hear the rest. I was like, we loved him so much, and I hung up the phone. I did not talk about social media. I didn't even know what was going on yet, okay? So then, that was it. So in the hospital, that Vitality post, I commented on that because somebody had called her a murderer, okay? And
well, she is.
She's not a murderer, so she didn't even have her phone at that point because the police had still had it, okay? So I jumped on, and I was like, she's not a murderer. She's more sad than most of these people commenting. She's been trying to get in touch with you. I mean, at that point, it was just an accident. So I commented on her behalf, not because of the modeling opportunity. Who cares about that? I don't want them to refer to her as a murderer, okay? And I don't even know how that comment got on the phone because the police still had her device, and she could not access her phone or social media. That's why I did it. And I had called them asking if they could shut down social media because people were calling her a murderer and making death threats.
What does any of this have to do with her actually committing the act purposefully and going to jail for her actions? What does this have to do with it?
And organizing groups to, take her out when she got out of the hospital and stuff. So I didn't even want her phone. I don't care about her phone. I don't care about social media. I just wanted them to stop calling her a murderer so that when she did come to, and she did come out of surgery, multiple surgeries, that she wouldn't see all these people calling her a murderer because she would never, ever, ever murder the love of her life.
She did, though.
Okay. For Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote, okay? So she was crying for 3 months. So her friends asked if she wanted to go out trick-or-treating or Halloween, and it was at OU. And she didn't even want to go. She said, I don't know, should I go? She couldn't even walk yet, barely.
Really, because, the videos that she made during the Halloween, seemed like she was just fine. Seems like she wasn't as distraught as you claim she was. So, that's a lot of bullshit.
So I told her, I said, baby, please go. It's Halloween. You've been laying for 3 months crying, only listening to his music. Please go have just a moment of fun. A moment of fun. So we told her to go. My husband drove her. I brought her back home. She just needed a second of fun from losing her whole world. Her whole world. So that was us. We told her to go. And that concert she went to with Dom's cousin, Abby, they picked her up. They brought her there. That was Dom, Mackenzie and Dom and Abby all decided to go to this concert together while they were in the hospital. She's devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes, okay? And they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident.
The more she talks, the more I start to think that the daughter told the mom what actually happened, and I think the mom knows what actually happened and why she did it, but she's trying hard to cover for her, just to get her a lighter sentence. I almost feel like they're, they don't care to the point where they would have even laughed about it when the daughter told the mom what actually happened. Not saying that's what happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what actually happened behind closed doors.
What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about her too.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for a leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
Does that mean his life is worthless?
No. No. God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. I understand what it looks like. I'm saying that it was a tragic accident. She would never.
Well, we're going to have to disagree on that.
I understand.
Right. And I respect your position.
I understand. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to address those. We told her to go to those things, and then she did go with Dom's family. So look at that. Don't look at it with the look on that with different eyes if you can, please.
Those things are not relevant.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But she's a good. If you would have a moment, all you would need is 5 minutes of a conversation to have with her to learn who she is. Just that you would just need 5 minutes to learn who she is and what she's capable of not doing and doing, and you would see for yourself.
Nah, bro.
That's all. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I love you.
She's not sorry. She's not sorry like that, bro.
And lastly, Mackenzie chose to speak as well.
Mackenzie, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. It's up to you.
I would love to.
Okay.
You're going to stand up right now.
You can sit if it's more comfortable.
Okay.
It's better for you.
The families of Dom and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day
Crocodile
you can
tears.
see I would never let this happen or do
Crocodile tears. I wish this guy would move.
it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys give. Thank you for fighting with me.
Crocodile tears.
I love you all so much. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah, zoom in. Let me see.
With her
Nah. Crocodile tears.
guilty verdicts, Mackenzie was facing an automatic sentence of life imprisonment with no opportunity for parole for 15 years for each of her 2 murder convictions. The most challenging aspect of the sentencing for the judge was deciding whether the sentences should be served consecutively or concurrently. She noted that while the families desired the harshest sentence possible, she had to balance the need for justice with the circumstances of the case. She sentenced Mackenzie Shirilla to 2 concurrent terms of 15 years to life for the murders of Dominic Russo and Davion.
Concurrent is back to back, right? I'm pretty sure. Consecutively would have been meant at the same time, which means she would have only had to serve 15 years total. Concurrent, so it was 15 back to back.
Flanagan. Serving them concurrently would make her eligible for parole in 15 years.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's the other way around. No.
Would make her eligible for parole in 15 years.
It's the other way around. So I guess consecutively is the one where it's back to back, and concurrently is at the same time.
Some advocates for Shirilla debate her guilt online, with her proponents making such arguments as Mackenzie having been coerced into a bench trial, and that her post-crash TikToking and partygoing, while perhaps in poor taste, were standard fare for teenagers and were not indicative of guilt.
No way. Consecutive refers to things that are arranged or happen in a sequential order. So I was right. Consecutive is back to back, and concurrent is at the same time. So I was right. But she's just eligible for parole after the first 15 years. That sucks. They can't deny the parole, though.
Also believe that Shirilla's acceleration could have either been her accidentally pressing the accelerator instead of the brake, or perhaps there was a malfunction where her pressing the brake did not register. Overall, her advocates feel that there was no evidence proving Mackenzie intentionally drove the car into a wall at 100 miles per hour, and that all the evidence against her was simply to attack her character. But most people are in the same Shirilla is guilty camp as the prosecutor, who, after the trial, commented,
"The intent was obvious upon seeing that video that there was only one goal, and the computer demonstrated that there was no attempt to slow down or stop, that it was full speed into a building." And said tragically it cost 2 people their lives.
While they were
Too
relieved that
innocent
McKenzie was found guilty,
people.
most of Dominic and Davian's family members expressed disappointment with the verdict, hoping instead for consecutive sentences. They felt that McKenzie had taken the lives of 2 innocent young men and deserved to serve the rest of hers in prison. However, Dominic's father, Frank Russo, was more forgiving. He reflected
Why?
that while his family was devastated, he hoped Sharilla could eventually be freed. He stated, "It's horrible for everybody. Yeah, I lost my son. It's harder on our family, but I don't want the rest of her life ruined too. It isn't going to make me feel any better." McKenzie.
I don't know, but so that's the mindset of a guy who raised a kid like a kid like his son. I guess that fits, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't say I would agree with him.
She is currently serving her sentence in the Ohio Reformatory for Women. With her following of people who believe in her innocence, she receives letters from them in prison. She will be eligible for parole on October 21st, 2037. What are your thoughts about this case? Reckless driving or a meticulously planned murder? Please weigh in the comments below. And if you like how we presented this case, please leave us a like and share, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos.
Yo, shout out to Crime A to Z. As for his question at the end, that's obviously meticulously planned crime. And not no reckless driving. That was not an accident, bro. She did that on purpose. Yeah, nah. Honestly, I see what the father's saying by, if she's able to get parole, he's fine with that. But I wouldn't really care if she didn't get parole. You know? Excuse me. But yeah, it's just, it sucks that not losing control of whether you live or pass is a scary thought, you know? But again, there were some signs. Like she threatened to do this exact same thing to him, and he still got back together with her. I guess he thought she really wasn't capable of actually going through with it. But she was driving recklessly before she got to her final turn. Maybe he should have hopped out. Maybe they should have hopped out the car when she was taking that turn, because she looked like she slowed down to take the turn. So maybe that was the time to hop out. I don't know, man. It just sucks that the situation is shit. So I guess be careful who you put your trust in, and remember, don't completely trust anyone. Not even your family, your friends, or your loved ones. Because you'll never know what they could be going through and what they're actually capable of in a moment of distress or whatever, they find themselves in. So be careful. But as always, link to Crime A to Z will be in the description below, along with a link to the video. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments below. And yeah, go ahead and check out Crime A to Z. And while you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it does after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.